Many Iraqi dinar holders around the world are asking the same important question today. On Iraqi Dinar Today, we often see viewers wondering what would actually happen if the Iraqi dinar gained stronger international recognition, or if its value changed in the future. Would major American financial institutions such as Chase Bank be ready to exchange Iraqi dinar for US dollars? Recently, conversations across forums, social media groups, and YouTube channels have intensified. Some posts claim that banks are quietly preparing for possible dinar exchanges, while others suggest that policies may already be shifting behind the scenes. But what do the actual banking rules say right now, and what should dinar holders realistically understand about the current situation? To answer that properly, we need to separate online speculation from confirmed financial policy. Discussions about currency exchanges can quickly become confusing when rumors begin circulating faster than verified information. That is why looking at official banking practices is so important, especially when dealing with international currencies. At the moment, according to the latest publicly known banking policies extending through 2025 and moving into 2026, large US banks, including Chase, do not currently provide retail exchange services for Iraqi dinar. In practical terms, this means that if a customer walked into a standard bank branch in the United States with physical Iraqi dinar banknotes and requested to convert them into US dollars, the bank would normally explain that this transaction is not supported. For many people, that answer feels surprising. A common assumption is that banks should be able to exchange any global currency. However, international banking does not work that way. Financial institutions only support currencies that meet specific market conditions and operational standards. Before we continue, if you appreciate clear explanations without the hype, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. It helps more viewers find accurate dinar discussions. Because the real question is this: if banks like Chase do not exchange Iraqi dinar today, what specific financial factors are actually preventing it from happening right now? And could those conditions ever change in the future? Many currencies that banks regularly exchange share several important characteristics. They are heavily traded in global financial markets, they have deep liquidity, and they are fully convertible through the international foreign exchange system. Currencies such as the euro, the British pound, the Japanese yen, and the Canadian dollar are good examples. These currencies move through international trading platforms every day in enormous volumes, which allows banks to easily price them, convert them, and settle transactions quickly. The Iraqi dinar operates under a very different classification outside its home country. In most international financial environments, it is considered a currency with limited convertibility. That classification has a direct effect on how global banks treat it. Because the dinar is not widely traded on large foreign exchange markets and does not have the same liquidity infrastructure as major currencies, many international financial institutions simply do not include it within their standard currency exchange services. For a bank such as JPMorgan Chase, decisions about which currencies to support are not based on predictions about a currency's future value. Instead, those decisions are driven by operational requirements and regulatory obligations. Banks must be able to process currency transactions through reliable settlement systems, confirm exchange rates through active trading markets, and maintain compliance with strict financial oversight rules. In the United States, financial institutions operate under strong regulatory supervision from organizations like the U.S. Department of the Treasury. Regulations related to anti-money laundering compliance, transaction transparency, and international reporting all influence how banks manage foreign currency services. If a currency cannot be efficiently tracked, settled, and verified through established systems, most banks will avoid offering it in retail exchange services. Another major factor involves the internal infrastructure used by banks. Currency processing systems are designed around specific currencies that are integrated into their foreign exchange platforms. When a currency is not included in that system, it cannot easily be deposited, converted, or traded within normal customer accounts. If this explanation is helping you understand the bigger picture, consider leaving a comment below and sharing your perspective. Many dinar holders have different interpretations of these policies, and the discussion can be valuable for everyone following the situation. But here is where the conversation becomes even more interesting, because many people online believe banks may still be preparing quietly for something behind the scenes. So where did those rumors actually start, and is there any verified evidence supporting them? This is the point where much of the confusion begins for many dinar holders. Across various online communities, discussions often appear suggesting that banks may be secretly preparing to exchange Iraqi dinar in the future. Some posts claim that internal banking systems are already being updated, or that certain financial institutions are quietly training staff for possible exchange scenarios. These kinds of statements tend to spread quickly across forums and video platforms, creating the impression that something major is happening behind closed doors. However, when examining official information released by large financial institutions such as JPMorgan Chase and other major US banks, there is currently no verified documentation confirming that a retail dinar exchange program exists. Banks typically communicate important operational changes through formal channels. These announcements can include press releases, updates to foreign currency service lists, or regulatory disclosures submitted to oversight authorities. If a large American bank were preparing to begin supporting a new currency for exchange services, it would normally appear in those official communications. Financial institutions do not quietly introduce new currency programs without updating their systems, notifying regulators, and publishing the change for customers. Because of that, claims suggesting a hidden or secret exchange plan should be approached carefully until credible documentation appears. A large portion of the information circulating online comes from speculation within dinar-focused communities rather than confirmed banking statements. While discussion and analysis are part of any investment community, it is important to distinguish between verified facts and personal interpretations. That said, none of this means the Iraqi dinar has no value or that its future cannot evolve. The currency remains the official national currency of Iraq and functions normally within the country's domestic economy. Inside Iraq, banks authorized by the Central Bank of Iraq process dinar transactions every day as part of the local financial system. If you're finding this breakdown helpful so far, take a quick second to like the video and subscribe. It really helps expand the reach of clear and responsible discussions about the dinar, because the next question becomes very important for anyone holding physical dinar notes. If major US banks are not exchanging the currency right now, what realistic options actually exist for converting those banknotes? And where can that process truly happen? For individuals who already possess physical Iraqi dinar banknotes, understanding the practical reality of conversion is extremely important. Since major American retail banks currently do not process dinar exchanges, holders often look for alternative ways to convert the currency if they ever decide to do so. Historically, some specialized currency exchange dealers and brokers have handled restricted currencies that traditional banks avoid. These businesses sometimes operate internationally and may offer conversion services for currencies that are not widely supported within mainstream banking systems. However, these types of services usually involve additional verification procedures and often charge higher transaction fees. Because restricted currencies carry additional regulatory and liquidity considerations, the conversion process can be more complex than exchanging commonly traded currencies. Anyone exploring those options should carefully verify the credibility of the service provider and fully understand the costs involved before proceeding. In many cases, the most direct environment where the Iraqi dinar functions normally is inside the country where it is issued. Within Iraq, the dinar operates as the official national currency and is processed through banks that are authorized by the Central Bank of Iraq. Local banks and exchange houses within Iraq operate under the domestic financial system and can conduct dinar transactions as part of everyday banking activity. Outside of Iraq, the situation becomes more complicated because international banking systems must follow their own regulatory frameworks and infrastructure limitations. Without strong liquidity in global foreign exchange markets and integration into large international settlement networks, most global banks choose not to include the dinar in their retail exchange services. Another topic frequently discussed among dinar holders is the possibility of a currency revaluation. A revaluation occurs when a country's monetary authority officially adjusts the value of its currency relative to other global currencies. Any decision involving a potential change in the value of the Iraqi dinar would ultimately come from the monetary policy decisions of the Central Bank of Iraq. Before we go further, if you enjoy following factual updates about the dinar and global financial developments, make sure to like the video, share it with other dinar holders, and subscribe so you don't miss future updates. Because even if a revaluation were to happen someday, there is another critical piece of the puzzle most people overlook. Would international banks immediately start exchanging the currency, or would there still be additional hurdles that need to be cleared first? Even if a revaluation of the Iraqi dinar were to occur at some point in the future, it would not automatically mean that banks around the world would instantly begin exchanging the currency. This is an important distinction that is often misunderstood in online discussions. A revaluation is a monetary policy decision made by a country's central bank, while the ability for international banks to exchange that currency depends on a completely different set of operational and regulatory factors. In the case of Iraq, any official adjustment to the value of the dinar would come from the policy decisions of the Central Bank of Iraq. Those decisions are typically influenced by several economic variables such as inflation trends, the strength of foreign currency reserves, government fiscal policy, and the performance of the country's export sectors. Because Iraq's economy is heavily linked to energy production, global oil markets also play a meaningful role in shaping the country's broader financial strategy. However, even if the value of the dinar changed, international banks would still need to evaluate whether they could support the currency within their operational systems. Financial institutions must consider liquidity availability, reliable market pricing, regulatory compliance, and settlement infrastructure before offering any currency exchange service. If those systems are not fully in place, banks may delay offering the currency until the proper financial networks are established. This is why currency integration into global banking typically happens gradually, as a country strengthens its financial transparency, expands international trade connections, and develops deeper foreign exchange markets. Confidence in the currency can increase over time. Improvements in banking reforms, economic stability, and integration with international financial institutions can all influence how global markets view a currency. For now, the present situation remains straightforward. Major U.S. retail banks such as JPMorgan Chase do not currently offer Iraqi dinar exchange services for customers. That policy reflects the currency's current position within the global financial system rather than any hidden program or secret exchange plan. If you've made it this far, drop a comment and share your thoughts. Do you believe Iraq's economic reforms could eventually bring wider international recognition for the dinar? Also, make sure to like the video, share it with other dinar holders, and subscribe for more factual updates. And remember, the most important question dinar holders should continue watching is this: if Iraq's financial system continues evolving, could the global banking environment eventually shift in ways that change how the dinar is handled internationally?